Hello, today we are going to talk about scope of variables within the script functions. Scope, range, means where, in what place the variable is available. What does it mean? Well, so far I have told you that everything is run from top to bottom, but there are some rare situations when this is a bit different. The difference is in when you are executing functions, when you are creating them, when you are using variables within them, because there are some weird things happening in JavaScript. In other programming languages it's a bit easier. Here it can be a bit buggy when you don't know how it works. So let's focus on how it works. Okay, let's create a function, a simple one like test, and let's do something like sample here, okay? Alert sample. So normally when we do something like that and when we run it, as you can see, we have got sample. We know that it should work because what, this function has been defined here, and now we are running the test here. So yeah, the program should already know about test here, right? About test function. But when we do it like that, you will be surprised because we have got also good result. Well, in JavaScript, before running the script, because executing instructions in the script, first interpreter is taking all the functions, all the variables to some global scope, and it's saving it there. And because of it, your functions, in whatever place you create them, so you can have here like 100 lines of codes, other codes, right? And when you do something like that, here, when you invoke the test, you can invoke your functions anyway, right? Why can you do it? Because, well, it's available everywhere. It's in global scope right now. Function is available everywhere. It also means that when you create, for example, a variable like that, and when you do something like, for example, alert A, and when you do something like that, you will notice that we have got 5. So somehow this variable is seen inside this function. It's available everywhere, but there is a small difference between functions because, well, look at this. If we do something like, let's take it into the comment, alert A, of course we'll see 5, but when we do it that way, we'll not see anything. It's undefined right now, okay? So this is available to everything that is under the definition. So this is a bit different from the function behavior, right? And somehow you can access the value here. What's more, you can even change it. So when we do it like that, as you can see, now we can have 3 here, and that's very important. A is now changed. It equals, and when we do it like that, you will notice that it's 3, and it's also 3 outside of the function. So it means that you can change the value outside of the function by default. It's very different behavior from other languages, okay? If you don't know other languages, then maybe it's not something that you don't understand right now, but soon you will have something that will be weird. What is that? Well, you can create something what is called local variables, because you don't want to sometimes change something outside. You would need to have some temporary variables to change something in between otherwise. But you can sometimes want to send this value just to, check it. You don't want to change the value outside. You want to, do some operations on it. You don't want to create another temporary variables and other things like that. And then you want exactly create a local variable. In order to create a local variable, you create a parameter, which is called A right now. And because of it, you will notice that when I run this program, it's 3 and then 5. Because now A and then assigned to 3 is assigning the value to the local variable, okay? So the local variable is something that is available between its scope. In this situation, it's between the curly braces opening and the closing one. So local variables are not available later. When we, I don't know, I do something like that, as you can see, free and bam, it's not available here. It's just available here, then that's all. It's not available anymore. So it also means that it's gonna be deleted after the closing curly bracer. It also means that it's gonna free your memory of your script. So it means that, well, if you want to just do some fast operations on something and you want to free memory, it's a good idea to do something like that, right? Instead of having everything in the global scope. And now there is something that you need to also understand, that when you don't need to, you know, create, for example, parameters, so you can do something like that. It's the same, okay? When you create a variable like that, it's almost like you did it that way, but well, you can then send arguments like you know, sending here 5 or something like that. That's why you want creating parameters sometimes. But look at this, it's now a local variable too. As you can see, now we have got 3 and then 5, because we have got here a local variable. If I delete it, you will notice that we don't have anymore the local variable, so we are changing the value from here. But there is also even something more weird. When we comment this thing, you will notice that right now, what's going on? We don't have a global variable here. We are assigning 3 to something, what? To what? We don't have variable here type. The problem is that you can create variable in JavaScript even if you do not type variable before it. When you do it that way, it's gonna become global variable even though it is created inside the function. It means that right now we assign 3 to A and it's also available here. As you can see, now we have got 3 here, 3 and 3 here. But if I do it that way, instantly this thing is not available outside of the scope. It is a local variable, okay? And as you can see, now it's 3. So you might be like now, you know, it's hard to understand at start, but you need to just remember that when you type variable before, it's gonna be local variable if it's created within the function. It's gonna be global variable if it's created outside of the function. And you just need to remember to, by mistake, do not do something like that. Because it's gonna be a global variable then, right? You need to have at least, you know, declared the variable or have it as a parameter here, because then it's interpreted a bit different way, right? I told you about the thing that you don't need to type the variable before the name of a variable, because sometimes you can make a mistake because of it, and they are very hard to spot. So just remember to not by mistake create a variable without the var before it, or you know, if it's not if it's parameter, you don't need to type the variable here, because it will be like second declaration of the same variable that is here, okay? So don't do it. Okay, that's all in the lesson. Thank you very much.